sweet souls, and welcome back to my channel, Mythic Rose Tarot. I'm really excited to be back today and giving you another pick a card reading. This one is going to be about career. What we're going to cover is some of your natural strengths and abilities that really lend themselves towards having like a really fulfilling career that kind of helps you fulfill your life path, okay? That makes you feel not like it's just a day job, but that makes you feel connected to your kind of your north node, you could say, your higher calling, your purpose. That helps you feel like you're growing towards the direction you should be growing, okay? Like you're growing towards the sun, not hiding away from it. You're growing into your greatness with your career, okay? So that's what this reading is all about. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm excited to have you back to my channel. And of course, if you're liking, let's make these a little bit straighter. There we go. If you're liking these pick a card videos, please feel free to like or subscribe to the channel. It's a very small channel right now, but I'd like to grow. I'd like to do this for you and bring a lot of messages. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about myself and my goal too. So I've been studying tarot pretty much 10 years, okay? So on and off, it started when I was in like my very first year of university, kind of right out of high school. I became very interested in tarot. That's when I got my first deck and started studying, and I've only enjoyed it more and more and more since then. I really feel that tarot is very accurate and oracle cards are very accurate, so long as you use your intuition, of course, right, to pick up on what messages are for you. I find these kind of methods to be a very accurate mirror that reflects yourself back to you. So really great tool for insight into yourself. I've also been, around the same time, I became really interested in astrology too. So sometimes you'll notice as I read, I might talk about astrological energies or zodiac signs, or things along those lines, okay? And then, of course, in school, one of the things that I studied the most during my degree, whenever I was able to take English courses, I always loved to look at folklore and mythology. I love the archetypes of the human experience, and I like to weave those into my readings. As well, nature, I think, is a wonderful messenger from the divine and from spirit for us. And so I really have a nature focus. As you can see, right? I have my little pressed flowers and I like to add them in, not just because they're beautiful, but because I think they add that touch of nature into the readings. And I think we are nature. So I also think taking the time to reflect and to have insight is kind of like getting back to Mother Earth and to nature. So that's kind of why I include those things a lot in my reading. Okay, so I just wanted to say a little bit about myself because I haven't really shared too much so far, but hopefully I'll share more. And in the comments, if you would like, you can share a little bit about yourself too. So today I've used from a variety of my tarot decks, I've pulled the Magician card for you. Now, I used the Magician card today because, as I said, one of the big focuses is going to be what are some of your like natural, raw strengths, abilities, potential with career. And I think the Magician aligns perfectly with that. The Magician has all four elements, right? He's got the sword, the air element, he's got a wand, the fire element of passion, the cups, that emotional fulfillment, and the pentacles for that, career side of things, and the wand, because he's the wielder of these things and he can put the different proportions of each ingredient on the table before him into his I would say career for this reading. So I really enjoy this card. I decided that this would be the best one, and what I want you to do is look at each of the five cards and pick which deck, which magician is speaking to you the most. I don't want you to pick with your eyes. I want you to pick with your heart, okay? Pick from your heart and from your intuition. So I guess you could say from your stomach more so. I want this to connect with you emotionally. So that's why I say the heart, but also with your passion. So also from your gut. Okay, so use your intuition. You can use a random number generator. So this will be pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5. And I'll hold up each of these cards again, as well as the gemstone that I've picked And you can also use the gemstone. You can use your intuition to feel which gemstone might be enhancing the message of which card you want. So the one you feel drawn to is probably the one for you. Now, again, this is a general reading, so if you find you're not drawn to any of the cards, of course, that might mean there's not really a message for you in this reading. However, you could also be drawn to multiple cards, and that's okay. That means there could be a message for you in multiple piles, okay? So go ahead, kind of go with the flow, go with what you're drawn to and what your intuition tells you. And I hope there's some good messages for you here today. Okay, so the first one, we have the Magician from this deck. Hold it up here. And this gemstone. Next we have pile number 2. This Magician. And this gemstone today. This is pile number 3. Got our Bumblebee Jasper. Pile 4. Pile 4's crystal. And pile number 5. This is your crystal. Oh, and your card. Of course, your card. Okay, now I'm going to give you about a minute just to think and meditate and really feel out which of these piles is drawing you in, okay? So go ahead, take a minute, and I'll see you in the reading. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading today. Again, this reading is going to be very focused on career. We're going to look at 4 different oracle decks, okay? We're going to look at the Spirit of the Animals Oracle, the Earth Magic Oracle cards, Sacred Earth Oracle, and also the Tree of Life Oracle. And we're going to use these cards, so you can consider it a lot of guidance from nature, from the world, from the universe, about where your natural talents and gifts lay. And then we'll use this particular tarot deck that you picked. We'll use that to ask for a little bit of guidance of what you should do, kind of what action you should take, what you should do with some of your raw potential. So that's really what we're going to do today. You can see I've added in, alongside our apophyllite, our beautiful kind of enhancing crystal, we also have some malachite here now. And this is a notoriously wonderful stone for attracting wealth and for manifesting your desires. And the Magician is all about manifesting. And so manifesting, in this sense, would be the career you want to have. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm going to do the card shuffle here on camera for you. So let's just put aside your Magician card. We'll put it off to the side here, and it'll just be, you can consider it like the back of the deck energy. What I love about this particular Magician card is how you can see, right, all the natural elements. We have the connection, I would say with the moth, the connection to intuition. Moths are active at night, and moths are also a winged little bug, okay? So I also consider that intelligence, and I think that's very accurate for career. It is the marrying of what in your will emotionally fulfill you with career and what mentally might be a good strategic decision. Okay, so I really like this choice. And then all of the natural elements in here, we've got a petal, we've got, you know, flowers and petals and ferns. We also have wings of other creatures. So already I'm feeling that perhaps communication is going to be one of your natural, really, gifts and abilities, okay? I think you have a gift for subtle communication, for navigating emotionally environments. You're the kind of person, I think, where you walk into a room and you know what's been going on. You can take the temperature of the room. You might be kind of claircognizant in that way. So already a message coming through just with the Magician from this particular deck, okay? Let's keep going. So let's shuffle first. Let's get into it with the Earth Magic Oracle cards. So I'm going to shuffle them here. Just give me a moment. So Spirit, please come through these cards today to tell pile number one what their natural gifts and abilities are that they really should be using in their career. What is some of their raw talent and potential? Please come through and give the objective truth and reflect that message back for pile number one to give them insight. What natural insight? What card represents some of their natural and raw potential? Okay. Crystals, focus. Okay, now let's shuffle from Spirit of the Animal Oracle. Okay. What animal wisdom does pile number one need to know? What animal can help them figure out some of their raw potential? Okay. Elk, nobility. Very nice. Look at this blue, this communication, this intuition, these purples, these blues. Wow. Okay. Now let's grab some information from the Tree of Life Oracle. Spirit, what are pile number one's natural gifts and abilities that they should know to help them find a career that will be really rewarding for them? Ooh. I want to take two. There we go. And then the last one is going to be the Sacred Earth Oracle, okay? Spirit. What gifts and abilities? What is the raw potential that Padawan needs to know about to help them on their path? Ooh, unity. Okay. So crystals with focus. Elk with nobility. The element of fire. And the 25th path, art and temperance. Self-sufficiency, boldness, and devotion. Very Sagittarius energy here, okay? And unity. I'm absolutely getting a feeling of communication here, especially with, right, the magician card that you pulled, the crystals kind of amplifying energy, which I often think about it like the internet amplifies messages that you might have, the same way crystals can enhance energies. So I'm really feeling like you might be someone who you have an ability, especially to use like social media or the internet, I think, in order to kind of reach that audience. I think you have a gift for reaching a big audience of people, and people are really drawn to your passion and your enthusiasm and your creation, okay? And then with the nobility, um, celebrate your accomplishments with humility. You are crowned with success. Powerful forces guide you. Your ability to conquer challenges is limitless. So I think with this one, it's just amplifying that you're someone who's very in tune um, with the universe. You're very in tune with nature. You're like a force of nature. I think you have an ability to go inward and really think about what you want. So you have excellent discernment. You're good at making decisions, I feel. I don't think you're someone who's wishy-washy, okay? You don't kind of one day, oh, well, I think this, and the next day, oh, now I think this. No, I think you have a strong sense that you are guided by the universe, by your spirit guides, and you have a faith that you can use your abilities to kind of further yourself in your career. You're self-sufficient. But you are someone, people, when you talk, people listen. And it's not necessarily because of um, like that you talk loudly or something like that. They listen because you talk with passion. You talk with passion. And that makes them invested. So you're someone, I feel like you could be like starting your own YouTube channel. I feel like you could be somebody who uses social media to create like a brand that's very in tune with what you feel the world needs, or something that's very in tune with yourself, something you're passionate about. So here I see intuitive ability. So, maybe you even are somebody who's psychic and you're interested in doing like tarot readings for people. I feel like that would be along the lines of a career path and some of the natural abilities. And then the 25th path, art and temperance, self-sufficiency, boldness, and devotion. I think wherever you go, again, you have that one foot in the water and the one foot on land, right? This like we have this watery energy. Even in the cave, we've got the waters coming in. So you are extremely intuitive. I think you're extremely emotionally intelligent. I think that you are someone who you're good with timing, you know when to act. Um, but in general, even if you act maybe before the timing is exactly correct, it'll work out for you because you have such this creative ability within you. And look at all these like wings, okay? We've got four-legged creatures, we've got wings, we've got this element of fire and the element of water really strongly coming through. So you could be also artistic. You could have some sort of um, creative passion. I would say that creative expression and self-expression are really vital to you. So this is also why I say perhaps you're doing something in the arts. Like maybe you are an artist. I'm not sure if I see writing here. There could be writing here with focus and with this communication, but I think mostly what I'm seeing more so like it could even be like journalism. It could be like interviewing people and being able to talk to them with such humility and being able to like draw them out. So I'm seeing like independent journalism, maybe over writing, more that visual of interviewing people or just communicating with them through speech. I feel like I'm seeing. Um, I think even like photography or something along those lines. But then again, there's this powerful internal focus. So it's like you're a force of nature. You have this strong internal kind of introversion and this powerful extroversion. So it's really beautiful energy to see. So with this energy, that's why I say you could be like dealing with the public, with people. You have this extroverted energy. So that could be self-expression after your periods of alone time, or figuring out what you want to say. So that's like doing photography and then sharing it with the world. That's like um, doing research and then coming out with your book, or you're interviewing, like podcasting, or you have a you want to be, you have this intuitive knowledge and you want to share it with people, so maybe you create a book. And if you're artistic, maybe you create an oracle deck, or you're creating something for people, the world, like to consume. And the things that you do, they bring people together. um, so we've already got a lot of different possible career paths kind of coming out here. um, what I want to do, let me read. I would like to read from the guidebook about this 25th path. I want to know a little bit more about this 25th path of art and temperance, okay? But this is Sagittarius energy. So, maybe you're like somebody who, I also getting this. I'm getting a strong feeling that you could be someone interested in environmental sciences. So maybe you like take people, like maybe you're into maybe you travel and you are part of that kind of ecotourism kind of industry. So maybe you're like a mountain guide or like a mountaineer, or you're somebody who does like a travel blog. So if you do like physical writing, I feel like it's on the internet, like a travel blog or something like this with the Sagittarius, which would be like some of those um, ninth house themes of traveling. I also do feel, I feel here you could also be like a professor in university, like higher education. You are passionate about something that you've really taken the time to consider well. So I feel like you can easily become an expert in the field of something. So perhaps scientist could be like geological engineer, even. Okay, so something to do, but very like earth focused. So um, you could be like a professor of like some sort of environmental sciences. I can't get that out, like geology, especially with the crystals here. So like a geologist, or like a even like a land surveyor, uh, but like an engineer. So something to do with the environment, but not necessarily like it's not like you're like running an animal sanctuary or something like that, taking care of the animals exactly. It's broader than that. It's like taking after the world as a whole, like a geologist, or somebody working in like looking at earthquakes or seismic activity, like a researcher. Okay, something like this. Or maybe consulting for the mining industry, but it's something that you're passionate about no matter what it is, and I feel like you're very passionate about the earth. um, Okay, let me read from the guidebook for the 25th path, art and temperance. So I also feel like with art, that's why I say maybe you're an actual artist. I think you really like color, I have to say. I think you're somebody who you love sunrises and sunsets, and you are just completely in awe of the natural world. It's one of your biggest inspirations. Okay, you're very balanced though, right? We've got this sun and moon energy. Um, Very beautiful. So let me grab the tarot deck that you decided to pick, and let us pull a couple tarot cards about what action you should take. Now that you know a lot of the different kind of raw talents and abilities and focuses you have, let us look at what action you should take maybe right now. So definitely, I would feel like with this energy, you're definitely somebody who should attend some form of like education. So that doesn't have to be university, but I definitely feel you are like an eternal student. Um, but you will only study what you're passionate about. You are not somebody that your parents can tell you, you need to go to school to be a doctor, and then you just follow that preset path. That is not you. You would have a very difficult time doing that. You have to be true and independent, and you have to follow um, where you feel guided, okay, by the universe. You have to follow that internal drive. You cannot just drive on the road that somebody else has laid out for you. But no matter what you do, rest assured it's going to have like global reach. Okay. Whew, that's a lot. So, Spirit, what action should pile number 1 take right now to help them on their path, to help them get started, or to help them get clarity, initiate, onto this path of having a fulfilling career for them? Okay, any other messages for them, for pile 1? About what they should do, what actions they should maybe take right now. Okay, I do want to take, we've kind of folded it back over, Justice. Okay. The 3 of Pentacles. Yeah. To me, 3 of Pentacles is very much, it's like building, apprenticing, learning. So to me, it sounds like right now what Spirit is saying is that you should get further education. So if there's that path I was talking about where you feel called to it, so something in communication, something to do with ecological sciences, something to do with art or creation. I'm seeing photography, like working for like National Geographic, working with something that's visual that people see, starting an Instagram, a travel blog, being a travel vlogger, a YouTube channel, anything like that. I feel like you need to start studying maybe creators who you already like, seeing what they do, maybe getting some formal like higher education, that kind of Sagittarius theme as well. And don't worry, I'll go back and I will read this guidebook, but I did want to pull the tarot cards. And then with Justice, I think you have to weigh some options here. So again, I love this kind of scale that has a crystal and the flower. So again, it's that like internal world, or you could even see it like the literal physical world. Like you love nature, you love like the rocks and the earth and the processes, and you're very interested in those driving forces of like the earth, like the earth's core. And you're also very interested in like what drives people, like what is someone's motivation, and you're good at drawing that out of them. So here we have the scales too, which is kind of like weighing 2 things back and forth. This is a theme in your reading. We've got, intuition with emotion, balancing 2 things, the world and then your inner world and outer world, your inner world and then self-expression and creative expression. So I think that right now, if you're feeling like all you're doing is thinking, to me, in this instance, I feel Justice, and especially with the symbolism here, it means to like be brave and like maybe start to output. So if you've been taking photography and keeping it to yourself, put it out there. If you've been thinking about applying to a program, with the 3 of Pentacles, do that. Maybe you want to attend a program, learn, and apprentice. So this is very much balancing. So you want to be in balance, okay? And to get, I think, back into balance, you do need to take some action. I definitely see learning. And so whether that teacher is life, that could be one thing. That could be one thing. Also, I feel that if you feel like you're in an unfair situation right now, you need to do something to restore it to fairness, so that you can be free. So if you feel like, basically, if your life's not working for you, right? So maybe if you're, I feel like if you don't have enough freedom, you need to break free from that routine. So maybe it's your routine is not allowing you to do the creative things you want to do. You need to make time for that. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. You need to balance your life. You need to balance your life. I also feel like if there's any way you're lying to yourself, I think you need to stop doing that. So again, that example of like if you're in a degree that you hate, you might need to look at how you can maybe move laterally and leverage your experience and go into a new degree that you will like more. So if you have been following along on someone else's path, that's not working for you. I think you need to follow your own path. Okay, you have to be brave. And you are brave. Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so those are some actions that you can take. So schooling, balancing, okay, uh, being truthful. You need to be truthful with yourself. So you can even write and have an honest look. You can write down, you know, what did I want to do when I was a child? Where do I think I'll succeed? And write down anything like that. And that could be your action to take. Okay, so let's finish off. I just want to read from the 25th path here from Art and Temperance. And also 2 and 5 together is 9, which also reminds me of Sagittarius. Okay. This path runs between Yesod and Tifereth and is Sagittarius in astrology. Okay. One of the 3 paths that make up the dark night of the soul, it offers temptation, and in doing so, the chance to move through the dark night and toward a greater harmony. Okay. The centaur Chiron reminds us that a wound can be a source of healing for others, maybe helping us to understand what they've gone through. He teaches us that self-sufficiency separates us from the herd. Yeah, you are an independent spirit, as I said before. You have to follow your own path. And again, this is that idea of sharing something that you've gone through too. So, that's why I talked about journalism, maybe interviewing people. You can share your experiences about the earth, and it'll really be inspiring for other people. It'll get that fiery spirit moving. Okay, guidance. It's easier to sleep than act, easier to eat chocolate on the sofa while scrolling through television channels, but just how does that serve you? New choices that are coming into your life may now mean missing the final episode of your favorite show, but the benefits will be tenfold. Don't shy away from bold choices. Choices that could mean you're not as informed about pop culture, but you're filling your heart and soul with information and experiences that light you up. Again, like look how bright this side is. You are very internally driven. So you need to figure out, you need to balance out, what are those things that really light you up. Okay, self-sufficiency is more than homegrown veggies and solar panels. It's knowing you're good enough. In fact, you're amazing. This process could bring up some uncomfortable truths for you and those around you, but this healing element of the path is important and shouldn't be ignored. Turn and face these truths and heal from a place of true wisdom. You're growing bolder, increasing your positive vibration, and building and building. Pour from a full cup, not an empty one. And you need time alone to build up your full cup. So no matter what you do, it'll be very important for you always to be able to go inward, okay? And make sure that you're feeling that emotional connection. Okay, activate. Again, what isn't doing you favors in this world? So you have to figure out what's not working. You have to be truthful about your life. You need to do a truthful review of your life. Maybe give up something. So give up something. Cancel a subscription to get the scales back into balance. So for example, if you have a subscription to, I don't know, like maybe gaming channels or something, or like I don't know why I'm thinking about you spend all your money on Steam or something playing video games. Maybe if you give that up and stop playing video games, you can get out there and do what you want to do. That kind of message, okay? It doesn't have to be video games. Add one thing, maybe read for an hour a day. So again, this is that balancing. There's something that needs to be subtracted and given back, subtracted and maybe added into your life in order to find that balance you're looking for here. Okay, excellent. So those are the messages that came through. Very, very different kind of career paths and lots of ways to take it. But I think truly at your heart, you're someone with a strong, passionate energy, like a sun inside you, okay? So you kind of make your own light. I'll put it that way. And you are someone definitely who likes color, enjoys nature and the beauty of the world. So that will be very important for you to keep in touch with in some way. And you also like people, especially the collective. You enjoy exploring people as a collective. And you yourself are very independent. And you must always honor that. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, pile number 1. And that's the messages I have for you today. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Today, we're going to be focusing on career. And what we're going to do is use 4 oracle decks to determine what are some of your raw, kind of natural abilities that you should be tuned into when selecting, maybe a career that would be really good for you. Then we're going to use the tarot deck that you selected, okay, for a couple cards just on action you should take, what you should be aware of right now in order to move forward with your career. So we're going to do a large focus on what is your kind of raw ability that you should be very aware of. So let's get started with that. I'm just going to move your card over to the side. Also, based on the crystal and the card you selected, I already feel like this illumination right on this deck, I really feel like it's I feel there's so many messages coming through. You might be somebody very interested in religion, okay? So like if you have a particular religion, you might like work for, you know, your religious organization. I have a feeling. Or you know, it's kind of like being a priest or anything like that. I feel it also could mean for you you're very spiritual. So I feel that you are someone who you're very aware of the dark side of life, I feel. And you are also very spiritually protected and you protect yourself well. So I'm really feeling kind of those themes of like transformation, of deeper truths and esoteric truths as well. So you could also be somebody interested in like you could be psychic. Okay, you could be somebody who is, you know, able to use your psychic ability in your career. I also feel that you are like very protected and you're like a rock for people around you, I feel, and you illuminate truths. So I kind of feel like you could be a police investigator or interested in the police or interested in investigate. It could even be like investigative journalism, not necessarily interviewing people, okay, like investigative journalism to get to the deeper truths of something you feel is going on or going wrong. You have a very transformative power. I feel like you can take information and reveal it in a way that can change it. So already those are some like raw abilities, some very powerful raw abilities that you should be aware of. Okay, so let's get some information from the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. So pile number 2. What does pile number 2 Spirit need to know about their natural gifts and abilities that will help them determine a really good career for them? Please help us determine some of the natural gifts and abilities pile number 2 should be aware of. I'm feeling 2, okay, so I'm going to bring them both out. I aim for 1 card, but sometimes 2 come. Okay. Oh my gosh, 3 came. Dragonfly Magic. Again, transformation. So we have a couple. Yeah, I really feel a Scorpio kind of energy, okay? I have to say, it's kind of this heavier energy. So let's see. We might not have space to display everything exactly, but let's just read them. Dragonfly Magic. I embrace my transformation. I courageously let go of the past. The magic of nature is in me. I am brilliant and I am blessed. So Dragonfly has really powerful transformational energy. So like I said, I feel like you help get to the truth and transform information in a way that can make change. Eagle with mastery. You're on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit, and your wisdom inspires the world. So eagles, you see their eyes, right? They have such intense eyes. So you are someone where you can see things for how they are. You can see through illusion and like you're somebody who can disillusion other people in a good way. So you can help take them out of misunderstandings, confusion. So I'm also feeling with transformation and like, you know, good luck, like as a bright energy and helps people transform. I'm feeling psychological things. So like being a psychiatrist, maybe being a career counselor, maybe being a counselor of any sort. So school counselor, maybe being somebody who, again, like a police investigator or something like that, or somebody who you know, maybe somebody who pieces things together. So I think this could be too, like even nursing, like psychiatric nursing, something along these lines. Okay, helping guide people into better luck. have very strong powers of sight and insight. You see things other people don't, and you have a very strong gaze. Okay, so um, you maybe are someone who doesn't super love small talk. Okay, you might prefer deeper conversations or having smaller groups of people to talk to. Okay, and then Ladybug, good luck. Your bright energy. Let go of worry and be happy here and now. Feel good about a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. So I feel like you might take people, like when you meet them, they might be in a darker place, and then after experiencing you, they leave off in a brighter place. You're like, it's good luck when you come into somebody's life. Um, Actually, this morning I just rescued a ladybug from my bathroom and set it free. So this is very interesting. So ladybugs might be a strong message for you. Like when you see a ladybug, that could be powerful spirit guidance for you. Okay. Maybe also these other creatures too, but I think especially the ladybug is a very powerful energy for you. Um, yeah, I do. I feel like even it could be like art therapy or like there's something here. There's something here. It could be nursing, um, or being a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist. Okay, things like this. You might be very interested in how people think. Okay, let's get some wisdom from the Tree of Life Oracle. So, what does pile two naturally need to know about their life path? About what's some energies that are very strong, some of their raw talents and abilities. Spirit, what does pile two? What do they need to know? Very interesting. Tifereth, beauty, balance, sacrifice, and joy. So this joy, this good luck kind of energy is coming through rather strongly. So I really feel like you help transform. You're like a rock for people. You bring them such joy, like balance restored to their lives. We'll keep going. So this is very much like the sun card, okay? So this could also be like Leo energy. So I'm feeling powerful, like one-on-one energy. This is why I feel like it's like working with people one-on-one. Let's keep going. We've got the Earth Magic Oracle cards. Pile 2. What does Pile 2 need to know about their natural talents and abilities that will help them, guide them in career? I feel this one. Yeah, you're powerful. You're powerful. You help transform people. I also feel this vulnerability card. Okay, it was really popping out. It was the bottom of the deck energy, and I would like it out. Okay, you're gonna have some extra cards. There's a lot of powerful energies coming through. And then Sacred Earth Oracle. What does Pile 2 need to know? What earth wisdom does Pile 2 need to know to help them determine what career is good for them? Unity again. Interesting. Any other messages for what does Pile number 2 need to know? Expectation. Okay. So let's look a little bit more into these energies as they're coming out. So again, with like beauty, this is why I think like art therapy. This could be like art therapy. This could be like animal therapy. You could be somebody who does something like, I feel like training guide dogs. Like you could be somebody who um connects people to like to animals, to the world in a way to help transform their experience. So for example, if somebody is, for example, like blind, and then they get a guide dog that can transform the way they navigate through life. So something along these lines. Like you could be like a sign language teacher. You could be a teacher for sure with this kind of energy, like a mentor, a guide. You kind of have this shaman energy in any sort of way. I feel too with like sacrifice. You could even be. I kind of feel like a death doula. Like you're very transformative. Okay, you help people overcome like expectations that might be placed on them through vulnerability and through like finding personal empowerment. So you just have a really healing energy. You have this like shaman energy. And this like sun in the center of it is so beautiful and transformative. Um, we have the lightning bolt of power. Yeah, you have very strong wisdom and insights to share with people, and you do give it freely. I'm also feeling like you could be, especially with unity coming through and expectation and this, buffalo woman who's here and she's looking around at the world. I feel like you could have medicinal knowledge. So again, maybe you are like a naturopathic doctor, I feel like. Maybe you are like a herbalist or like a traditional like Chinese medical practitioner. Um, Maybe you're somebody who helps guide people through like the way that energy moves. Okay, and with unity I feel like it might not be information from your home culture, like with this unity card here. Actually, this card came out for the other group, pile number 1 too, so there could be a message for you there as well. um, but if not, what I'm feeling is like, even if you didn't grow up like, for example, in China, you could become very interested in like qigong or like um, herbal remedies and things like this. And you could bring that to people and be a transformative force for them and uh, help them out physically. So strong physicality here, okay, as well. And then vulnerability, again, this counseling, this like helping people go through life with more vulnerability and finding personal empowerment. So even you could even be something like somebody in the self-help field. Maybe you want to be an author or start like an Instagram or something like that. With the unity, I also feel like social media could play. So maybe you want to have a channel where you talk about your knowledge on these things, like one of those um, clinical psychologists who have YouTube channels or something along those lines. Like you want to get it out there. Maybe you want to create a book. But again, art therapy even too, or like animal therapy, like um, this is kind of like specific, but even like running some sort of like, not a petting zoo, but like even if you have like a ranch or something like that, like bringing people out to heal them through letting them like ride their horses or things. Anyway, that's a very specific message. I'm not sure if that one's for many people here. But yeah, we've got the Phoenix, okay, of transformation. I'm really feeling like Leo, Scorpio energy, fifth house, and eighth house themes really strong coming through here. Um, there is one I do want to read a little bit from this expectation card, okay? So I'm going to grab the guidebook from this expectation card. And then we're going to pull some tarot about what actions you should be taking. Okay. Okay. So, earthly meaning. Confront your ideas about a situation, a relationship, or yourself. Poke, dare, and test your expectations. If it's real, it will remain. Be honest, reflective, and determine if an accepted truth is truly serving you and those you care about. Consenting to things turning out okay is settling for less. Expect more for yourself and your circle. Let go of what you know to make way for wisdom. Yeah, you do believe. This is why I didn't say you're like a medical doctor, okay? Like a surgeon or something like that. That's not what I'm seeing. I feel like you're knowledge, it's healing, it's transformative, and it goes maybe like deeper than just pure science. You're more about a melding of science and earth wisdom and spirituality and everything together. So that's kind of something too. There's just powerful healing energy, helping people get through moments in their lives and transcend. This is why I brought up like you could be like a death doula or a hospice nurse or like a psychiatric nurse. anything like this. Okay. Spiritual meaning. Inspiration breaks through expectation like a lightning bolt. Oh, look, lightning bolt. So some synchronicity here. It awakens inside you, it shatters doubt, and fills your life with creative energy. Every day you're the creator of a new world. Be the creator of a fairer, more inspiring, and positive world. Shift perceptions, raise expectations, and burst into a new horizon. Hope anticipates better days ahead. Happiness makes better days today. Okay. Okay. So you are somebody, you're on a very positive path. So I hope that helps enlighten. That's kind of echoing from the guidebook. We can see this expectation is really helping to echo the messages that were already coming through. So let's get started and let's grab a couple of cards to show what you should maybe do, some action you should take. What do you need to do right now in order to kind of get started on your path, progress on your path, activate your path? What does pile 2 need to do? Spirit, what does pile number 2 need to do? Okay, well, that came quickly. Let's do 2 cards. Strength, right? Of course it came through strength. We've got strength basically, which I find I always think of strength at the same time as I think of the sun very frequently. So we've got for strength, or for the sun, we've got that kind of Leo theme, and then for strength 2, I always think of Leo because of the lion as well. But we also have this infinity, okay, which to me is also 8th house, can be 12th house too, but we've got this infinity sign, this wisdom, and this person who has mastery and trust in their life. Really aligns. So you're a very strong person. And Knight of Cups. So again, you carry that emotional weight with you. So you're somebody, you help people move through emotions, I feel. I really feel like this counseling, exploring the emotions of life. So you help people be strong and you help people move through emotions of life. This is such powerful energy coming through. Okay. Oh yeah, and strength is the 8th card, of course. So in tarot. So we've got some major arcana. So major arcana is always very transformative, very powerful energy, which I think is just echoing everything. So to me, what this means is right now, you probably need, in order to kind of get started on your path, I feel like you can just say you need to have strength. So if you haven't achieved this yet, that's okay. It might be that you need to go through your own vulnerability, your own kind of crisis, the dark night of the soul, before you can bring this healing and wisdom to other people. So if you're going through that right now, it's just saying to have strength to help you get through it. Know that you will achieve a point of mastery and have trust in yourself. So most of all, you need to trust yourself. And then Knight of Cups too, I feel like this means to get in touch with your emotions right now. So maybe you want to journal about it or meditate about it or do something to help you get in touch with your emotions. And that will help you begin to continue on your path. So feeling out the world around you. What else? I want to see if any more messages come out. Just to see. Is there anything else, Spirit? Ooh, okay. 2 of Cups. Oh, interesting. So actually 2 cards have come out here. I'm going to take them both. I feel that we've got 2 of Cups, and we've got the Wands. We've got the 8 of Wands. So, and again, 8, this number 8, I feel is very strong. So actually, I feel like, things might be beginning to move quickly. You might want to move quickly, and I think you should go with that. So if you're feeling this change, this transformation happening, I feel like you should go with it, and that will help you get on your path. So don't question it. Don't sit and question it and sit in stale energy. You should start to get moving with it. And then 2 of Cups, I feel this might mean that you partner up with somebody. So this could mean, like, for example, if we're going with the things we said, maybe you do go to school, you graduate with a psychology degree, maybe you partner up with somebody in order to have a practice. So there could be something that could help you would be to like learn very strongly from someone else. We also have the medical. I almost see when I see this, I feel like this is very similar to the medical sign, right? Oh, I'm forgetting what it's called. Um, Ooh, you know what I mean though. The medical sign. So again, this is like confirmation of something healing. It's something in the. It could be metaphysical healing or it could be physical healing, but there's something here. And again, one on one, like you're very you're very strong like one on one with people. You're very strong emotionally. So to me, this is like extra confirmation about the counseling. But this could mean to like signing a contract, maybe like apprenticing under somebody, or it could mean as well just partnering up with somebody, even partnering and learning. Okay, or maybe finding a teacher or something like this, someone who will teach you what they know, so that you can one day spread that knowledge even further into the world. So those are some messages coming through. Thank you, pile number 2, for tuning in today. If you liked this reading, please give a like, and consider subscribing if you want to see more content from me. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You have picked the Rider-Waite Radiant Tarot deck. This is actually my most used tarot deck, so I'm very familiar and comfortable with it. And you picked the Bumblebee Jasper. So already I just feel like like Leo kind of energy, like Leo fifth house kind of energy. So I would say already I'm getting the vibes of someone who's like a collector of things, um, somebody who's kind of in the spotlight. So you could be like an influencer. You could have the natural ability to be um, like a fashion designer. I feel like you could have the natural ability to be somebody who like curates collections. So like a museum curator. You could be a kindergarten teacher. I feel like with this fun kind of activating energy. Um, Perhaps an artist or things like this, something in the visual arts too. So already just from the deck you picked, just from the crystal you picked, these are some of the messages coming through. But I got ahead of myself there. They were just coming through fast. So today we're going to focus on your career. We're going to use 4 different oracle decks to determine some of your raw talents and abilities that you should know about to help you kind of get on a path that would be very fulfilling for your soul. So we'll start with looking at your raw abilities, and then we'll pull some tarot cards, maybe 2 or 3, just to get you going on how can you get activated on your path right now. What should you do to get started, maybe? Ooh, and we still have the stone from before. Let me move that one. So let's get started. Um, Pulling those oracle cards first, and then we'll move into the tarot deck, okay? All right. So first, let's look at some animal wisdom. So, Spirit, please help communicate with pile number 3 through me and through these cards today. What does pile number 3 need to know about their raw talents and abilities in order to help them select career? What should they know about themselves, their raw talents and abilities and strengths? What animal guidance do they need? Ooh. Okay, so 2 came out, which is just fine. We don't mind bonus cards here. Black Jaguar, Old Soul. Beautiful. You know what? This card has almost never come out for me, so I just want to appreciate it for an extra second. So Black Jaguar, Old Soul. Walk through life with confidence and grace. You have power from beyond the world. Focus on what you really want, and you can create your dreams. Again, very magician. So for you, I feel like you are going to be your kind of own inner generator. You should walk the path that feels good to you. So let's look at the next one. Fox, clever. You are swift and smart. Situations to problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. Resources surround you. Be open to romance. Okay. And look at all these cave drawings. So I feel like you're somebody who, like, people love to give advice to you. That's a very interesting kind of card to come out too. But I feel like people see how clever you are. Maybe you've been called very smart, intelligent, or clever. your whole life, or maybe you've been called an old soul too, and people kind of, they like being around you, they want to give you advice. But for you, the trick is in finding the thing that you want to do, finding the path that you want to walk. So this is kind of a similar message if you looked at pile number 1 too. Pile number 1 isn't really somebody who can walk that path that somebody else lays out. They have to walk their own path too, and I feel a similarity here. You are somebody where you are independent. You are going to walk your own path, and that'll be most powerful for you. But you're extremely intuitive. You, I think, as well, could have psychic ability, especially with, I feel like with your dreams. Okay, so you could be somebody who like dreams up things that you want to create in this world. This is really powerful energy. Okay. And then a problem-solving energy. Let's keep going, and then let's keep going. Let's see what other messages come through. So you're a natural problem solver. So you could be somebody like, I don't know, I'm feeling like consultant too. So like kindergarten teacher, consultant. You could be, I think, any sort of consultant. Maybe even dealing with matters of money. Let's keep going. So, this is from the Earth Magic Oracle deck. What does pile number 3 need to know? Is there any other messages? That one came out quick, so any other messages pile 3 needs to know? Oh, yeah. Okay. Creation. Yeah, totally I'm feeling this like Leo creative energy, okay? And you're also very smart. Rebirth. Transformation. So this rebirth, this black magic. Okay. Spring equinox. You're someone with great ideas. You're so clever. I wonder. I feel too with this card with the third house energy. I'm feeling some like third house energy. I'm feeling like perhaps too like writer. Like physical, like you write fiction or nonfiction. So like I'm feeling I'm picking up on like a writing kind of vibe. Okay, let's keep going. So what other, this is from the Sacred Earth Oracle. What does pile number 3 need to know about their natural talents and abilities to help them with career? Ooh, okay. 3 came out. You're getting an abundance of cards. Alliance, core, and fortitude. Again, more cat energy here. Very interesting. Okay. And then lastly, from the Tree of Life Oracle, what does pile number 3 need to know? That's so interesting. Do you remember when I said antiques collector? I feel like that's kind of coming through here. I feel like you might be somebody who could own like a esoteric shop. You could like own a small business, like a shop. You could be somebody like a contractor of things. So, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. I'm getting so many messages. Okay, Tree of Life. What does pile 3 need to know about their natural raw talents and abilities? Actually, I feel stronger with this one. Oh my gosh, that is so interesting. So we've got that 5th house coming out again. That's crazy. I shuffle these cards between. So, with this card coming out again, you could have also been attracted to pile number 2, okay? And again, I said that Leo energy is coming through here. So let me just move these. I kind of want to move these over. This Leo energy, it is here. We've got this cat energy, this intellectual energy. I'm feeling in this deck, you could be somebody who is a university like professor. I feel you could be somebody who, I kind of feel like you're like a manager too. So I think you have like managerial ability, owning your own small business, kind of a little bit of that entrepreneurship, okay? You have a lot of ideas with dream time creation. You have a very strong imagination. You're intelligent. You're wise. You have fortitude, right? So you keep going even when things are difficult. And you should be driven from your core. So again, this is very like Leo, very sacral chakra kind of energy. You should be driven by your core, by that inner sun. An alliance, I think you're good with people, but like I feel like you're kind of a leader more so. I really feel leadership energy. People respect your intelligence. So what could that translate into? Let me kind of feel it out for a second. Contracting. I really feel teaching. I strongly feel teaching. So it could be like high school teacher. Um, I think it could be even like if you're an influencer or something like that. I'm getting deja vu right now. That's crazy. So definitely strongly for influencer, okay? You could be like fashion influencer with new creations and ideas. You might be very interested in the aesthetic or the um, material side of life. So I also feel like you could make your own goods. Like you could be like a lifestyle kind of influencer, imparting information. Um, People admire you. Like they easily look up to you, kind of like that Leo energy. So you should be doing what you want to do. You should be focusing on what you want to focus on. But yeah, you're a natural leader. So also even if you're working like in retail or something, you are not somebody who should stay the cashier. You should be looking to work up into management because people respect you, they look up to you. Um, but I feel like you're someone who would like have your own store. You're somebody who can create your own brand. So like your own apparel brand. I don't know where I'm kind of getting this clothing energy or like working with clothing, but I feel like you could be interested in design. I feel like you could be somebody who like creates your own wallpapers and sells wallpaper prints, or like you create things to sell. Okay, like you're good with money and exchanges, and you kind of have a feeling for what people might want to buy. And you could even be somebody like a potter. um you are somebody like you can understand trends very easily. This is why I'm getting the fashion. Something you make old things new. Also, this is where I'm feeling like this antique store. You could be somebody that like flips houses or flips furniture and makes old things look new, and appealing, and people, they really admire you. Okay, you truly are like a vision. You're like a visionary. You're like a leader. You could be like a CEO at a nonprofit or a for-profit company. Even like you aspire higher. You could be the vision behind creating, a whole bunch of different hoodies for a brand. You are somebody who can create so many ideas, so much beauty in whatever you decide to do. I strongly do feel this teacher energy too, because like you're the kind of person to stand at the front of a crowd and people want to learn from you. They want to buy things from you. They want to admire you. Okay. I feel like those are some strong messages that just came through. Um, Anything else? Let me think. Fortitude with core. The energy I'm feeling is like very. It's kind of like. It's very fixed kind of zodiac sign energy, okay? It's very fixed. I feel like you're somebody, you do work well with people, like in person. Kindergarten teacher. Even like gardener, like if you had your own gardening business and you're selling flowers. Um, this is so interesting. Uh, yeah, selling something. So like owning your own business, being an entrepreneur, that is this pile. If there's entrepreneurs, that is this pile. And of course, that could be anything you think of that you want to be an entrepreneur in. That is kind of this pile's energy. Um, I also do feel like this artistic ability. Okay, craftiness maybe is a better way to put it. Like design and craftiness. Um, okay, I think I threw out so many different potential careers and so many different natural abilities here. But I also want to just highlight fortitude, okay, as well. And people, I just want to like echo people really want to be allied with you. Like, they want to buy your products. Like, if you create like a skincare company, they want to buy it because you know what will sell, and you have a really intuitive way with people, and people look up to you. Like, if you're the one modeling and like putting that luxurious cream on your face, okay, like, maybe you make products out of dandelions or something like that, like dandelion balm or skincare cream, and you like are able to give new life into something that people used to think was, just a weed or something. Because, like, for example, dandelions have so many healing properties. People will look at you're like a trendsetter, so they'll see you, like putting your luxurious cream on your face, and like they'll see you and they will want to be influenced by you. You have that ability. They'll want to kind of like align with your personal brand. This is so interesting. Like, your core is so out there. You're expressive through these things, and you are also someone where you don't give up, which is a superpower. You don't give up if your first product fails. You're able to transform it and learn from it and do better next time. Okay, there's so many energies coming through. So many energies, so many ideas. So let's move on. Let's move into the tarot today. So again, you picked the Radiant Rider-Waite. So let's go ahead and look at some cards for you. So Spirit, what does Pile 3, what should they be doing right now to get started on this path, to activate it? What actions should they be taking? Knight of Swords. So you should move fast, especially if you have an idea, especially in this world, right? Maybe don't tell people, just do it. Okay? So don't be speaking your ideas, like somebody could steal it or something like that. For example, if you have an idea for a lifestyle brand that's unique, or if you're going to be like doing a design, don't share it with your followers before you trademark it or put it on your product, okay? Move fast with your ideas. Move fast with your ideas, and I would say keep them to yourself to start. And really move on them though. Don't wait. Don't get stuck waiting around for something to happen to you. You're going to create your own path here. What else? I was kind of feeling this one. Page of Swords. I'm not taking reversals today. So with Page of Swords, again, this is like, you are someone with so many ideas for creative things. So you need to like write them all down and then get started, and don't worry about the process or failing. Just if you do fail, like you're going to learn from those mistakes, and trust me, people will want to follow you. So kind of getting started with your kind of leadership, your mental ideas you have for things. You need to get started with them. Any other advice for pile number 3, Spirit, about what they should be focusing on? 2 of Wands. Interesting. Yeah, you need to kind of look out into the world and contemplate, where do you want to go? Especially because if you're someone who has many different ideas, it could be that you're a little lost right now about which one to take action on. So spend some time contemplating which one to take action on. Maybe I would go with, because we have wands here, maybe go with the one that you feel really lights you up inside. Okay, where do we have it? The core. The one that really lights you up inside. And maybe to know that, think about yourself 20 years from now. If you look back and there's an idea you have that you never acted on, would you regret not acting on it? So look into the future. Like, this person is looking off into the distance, into the future, and think about, is there something you would regret not doing or not trying? That might be a good indicator of the thing you should get started with and take action on, the idea you have that you need to move toward. So think about it from like a future, present thing. And then also perhaps traveling will help things come into focus for you, or looking outside of yourself. So if you've been really trapped inside your house or kind of isolating a little bit, I think you should go out and at least maybe go to the mountains, get a different perspective, in order to figure out which direction you want to go. And then once you figure that out, you need to act fast. And again, I really feel you should not tell people your ideas, because I think people might steal them from you, because you are just a natural influencer. Whew. Okay. Oh, also with Bumblebee, Jasper, I do feel you're good at communication. I do feel you're good at communication. You know what? You could even be a politician. I'm also seeing politician here. Certainly a community leader. As I said, like you could work your way up to be a CEO of a nonprofit, for example. But you're very smart. You know, you're very intelligent, and people know that about you. So don't worry too much. You have the fortitude and the intelligence and the intuition. You can pull through a lot of situations, maybe more than you think. Okay, I hope that was insightful for you. There's a lot of ideas there. I think I even said, did I even say like antique shop owner? Yeah, that's so interesting. Or like somebody who like takes old things and makes them new. For example, like you could take old furniture and like flip it and sell it, like sand it and sell it, or even like have an Instagram account where you do that. You also, I have a feeling for this group too. You might like, I just feel like these like antiques. So like also jewelry. You might be somebody who sells like jewelry, okay? And your ideas, for example, for all your jewelry could come from nature. They could come from the past, like antiques. Just your own inner things. And people will want to work with you in your brand. I really feel like if you own your own brand, people really will want to work with you. Okay, I think that's all that's coming through. That was a lot of messages. So thank you, pile number 3, for sitting through this reading. I hope some of it was insightful. And if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give a like. It would really help me out. And then if you are interested in more videos, please go ahead and subscribe. We're a very small channel right now, so you might not find me again if you don't subscribe. Thank you so much, and have a really good day. Hi, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading today. So today we're going to focus on really career. We're going to take a look first using 4 different oracle decks about many of your natural abilities, strengths, and talents, the kind of the raw gifts you have that you should really think about utilizing when considering career. Just to amplify our energies, we've got our malachite here and our apophyllite. So really, we're really focused on things that would be good for you to manifest, okay? So you picked the pile number 4, or the Celestine or Celestite crystal. Already I'm feeling you might be somebody who works in the healing fields. You might be somebody who works with, I think, animals. I think you might be somebody who works with plants or animals. So like you could be a florist, you could be a gardener, you could be somebody who owns like I feel like a wedding business. So like planning weddings, like a planner of some sort. I feel like you could be somebody who works in a hospital, so like a medical field. Maybe even looking at things like people's sleep or dreams, perhaps psychology or things like that. This pile, I feel like you might have natural strengths and abilities for things like I really feel like you could work with animals in some capacity. So like a veterinarian, okay, too. Somebody who works in a vet office, somebody who I guess even works at a pet store or something like that. I also feel like, I don't know, where a fisherman came to my head as well. So somebody who maybe works with marine life, or maybe like rivers and ecosystems, like researches that. There was a message like that in some of the piles before too, but for you, I really feel like especially like marine life. So you might even be somebody who like is a painter, but you really paint a lot of oceanscapes or something like that. I don't know why that's coming through. I just strongly feel that way. I think that you could be... I also think you could be like an artist, okay? You also could be somebody who is like I don't know why I'm feeling like a house husband or like a housewife, okay? So like maybe like a homemaker could be the kind of career path you want. So like not really having a career in that sense. I feel like you could be a dancer, okay? You could be somebody who does like, if you're an influencer or something, maybe you do like embodiment through movement or like dancing, like creative expression in that way. So many things just coming through just from what I'm getting from the crystal and card you picked. Okay, so let's keep going. Let's get more into it with the oracle decks. So first off, what animal wisdom does pile number 4 need to know? What will help them, Spirit, know about their raw gifts and abilities that can really help guide them with career? So Spirit, please come through these cards. What animal wisdom does pile number 4 need? What animal wisdom? Is there any other animal wisdom pile 4 needs to know? I feel like there's another message. Ooh. Okay. There we go. I don't know why, I just really felt there was another message that needed to come through. So we have Goose with inner knowing, and again, Eagle with mastery. That's so interesting. So let's see. Let's keep going. So Earth magic. So what does pile number 4 need to know about their natural gifts and abilities to help them with their career? What does pile number 3? This one's from the Sacred Earth Oracle. What does pile number 4, sorry, what does pile number 4 need to know, Spirit, about their natural gifts and abilities? Whew. Is there any other message? I feel there might be. Is there anything else pile number 4 needs to know? What does pile number 4 need to know? Okay. Just let me take a sip of my coffee here. Okay, so many things. So I'm getting kind of like that Pisces energy as well here through what I'm seeing. Okay. So inner knowing, you're a brave traveler. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you'll achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. You might work in like restaurants or bars too for some reason. You might have an interest in food, I'm feeling. Also mastery. Okay, this came through in a different pile. So, you know, there could be messages for you in other piles. Okay, pile 4. You're on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You're guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. So you also have a gift of seeing things for what they are, seeing the truths of life, okay? Knowing that even the small, you like being able to see even the small things and also the big picture, like from the sky. So I'm really getting a feeling we've got these winged creatures, okay? Gooses are also very loyal, I find. So again, I really feel like you might work with animals. You also might be somebody who works in like the spiritual sort of professions, like a spiritual sort of guide in some way. Loyal friends are with you. I feel like you might work in the bar scene for some reason. Or you might work with your friends, or like wherever you work, people kind of become your friends. They feel like family, like you're loyal to people that you work with often. Okay. Grounding. Again, like I said, you might do like embodiment work, like meditations, dance meditations, guided meditations, something like this. Stillness. You need to go within. You're somebody who needs to go within. And in the stillness, things become quite clear to you. So I feel like you're like a highly sensitive person, okay? Like I'm getting kind of that Pisces kind of energy. Something like maybe Taurus too. Um, you are somebody I feel like you might be somebody who works with money. So you might be in accounting, like with consistency, perception, the tree of life, map, support, connection. You could have the more creative field. Like I said, you could be somebody interested in doing dance, or embodiment work or meditative work. You might be a musician, I feel too here. Um, I just feel that there could be musician energy coming through. Again, this is kind of just what I'm feeling. Like things where if you're consistent, you become better, which I guess you could say is many things in life, but just things like have that alter your perception of the world. So like music, like dance, like connecting, things that make you feel grounded and connected to the world. With the tree of life, kind of, we have tree coming through twice here. It could also be, like I said before, like you're somebody where you own a garden, or you're like a flower farmer, or a florist, or an arborist, or like you do something. Maybe you're a groundskeeper. Okay, maybe you do maybe landscaping, something like this. Something on the water, so very earth and water kind of energy, and air represented a little bit too. With perceptions, again, I just feel this like dance, this artistry. It could be visual arts, also like painting, drawing too, but I feel it's more about movement, about like being, embodiment, okay? Um, what other kinds of talents are coming through? Map, support, and connection. I feel, especially with Goose, and then with this, map, support, connection, the full tree of life, you have like friends in high places. Like you're a really good networker, but not because you schmooze or something like that. It's because you make genuine connections with people. So I don't know. This is somebody you could do very well in business too, if you're able to connect with people um, to make them feel good when they're around you. Like I'm seeing like investment banking or like client services. I also am feeling like making people feel still, changing their perception, the grounding. I feel that you could be somebody who could do good in like spa services, or like changing, like helping people feel that their environment is different, helping them go within and take reprieve from the busyness of everyday life. So like owning a spa, or like maybe being a massage therapist to help people feel very grounded, something like that. Let me read from the Tree of Life in the guidebook. I want to get a little bit more information on that, and a little bit more on consistency. So let's see. I want to read a little bit more about those to help us out here. Okay, so this card shows the central organizing system of the Kabbalah, the map if you like. The Sephiroth and the path hold one another in place. Take one away and the whole system would crumble. The glyph for the Tree of Life feels oddly familiar to those who've never seen it before. This is true. This is a familiar feeling, right? Like this perception, it feels like when people meet you, they feel like they've always known you. I also feel like you could work with elderly people, I have to say. Like maybe you're like a care worker, or like you just could work with elderly people or something, like doing programming, or maybe you're like a social worker. I also feel like people feel very supported by you, and your presence is quite healing. So you could be a physiotherapist, I think, in this pile too. You are able to see how every little muscle works with the whole system, how every nerve works within the whole system of the body. So there is also medical here too, I will say I was feeling. So physiotherapist, maybe like a care worker, or like somebody who works. I also could see nursing here too, or like being a doctor. I could see being a doctor here too, with the Tree of Life. I also could see But I feel like the doctor is less than something like a physiotherapist or like a personal trainer I could see here as well. There's physicality, but also like where the body is a temple. So like feeling good in your body. And the systems all working together. I feel like you could be like an endocrinologist, like looking at hormones and how the hormones all work together, like synastry. Um, Actually, I was gonna say, I think that the bottom of the deck. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pull. You had bottom of the deck energy was synergy. I'm gonna add this to the reading because I did see it. I don't know. I kind of wanted to pull it, but I don't know why I didn't. But this was your bottom of the deck energy from the shuffle I did here. Like this synergy, I feel like adds a missing piece to everything I'm seeing. Like how things work together. Okay, so like how systems work together. So when I was talking about how like arborist or how a forest works together, veterinarian, how the body works. Um, I also feel like you could be somebody who's interested in people, like maybe anthropology or civilizations, like looking at how civilizations work and looking at patterns and things like this. Oh, there's so many messages coming through. Okay. But yeah, personal trainer, physiotherapist. Okay, so the glyph for the Tree of Life often very familiar to those who haven't seen it. It is a geometric shape that holds all there was, all there is, and all there will be. So you're very wise, so much knowledge. Guidance. This card is bringing to the map of your consciousness. Is bringing the map. Oh my gosh, this card is bringing the map to your consciousness for a reason. And as with all maps, it can show you where you've been, where you are, where you're going, and how to get there. Take some time to consider the position you find yourself in. Ask where you want to be and which experience or path will get you there. Being fully present with the choices you make is something that brings a magic of its own. You cannot take control of your life without it. You are your own tree. Acknowledge the way this vibrates within you, and as you do, you can bring your physical, emotional, and spiritual being into alignment, understanding what is no longer serving you and adjust. There could be issues of support or lack of it in your life right now. Look at the image and ask where that lack could come from and what and how to best address it. Okay. So get to know your own tree. So there's so many things. Like I said, there's something about systems and how things all work together. So you could be somebody researching and studying like the forest. You could be researching and studying like the body. You could be researching and studying like compiling different things together. So you could be a researcher for sure in many different fields. I do feel like some of it could be medical, like I said, like endocrine systems and maybe also mental, like energy, but I just feel it's more physical. I feel it's more embodied and in the body. And you're very good at seeing how small things affect the whole. Like you can be looking at the whole world, but see that tiny mouse running around in the grass, okay? And then you have a strong inner knowing too, okay? So you have to trust in your soul and that it knows the way. People look at you and they see someone who is kind of wise or dreamy or kind of spiritual. I don't know why. I'm also feeling like you, even just like how an event will go, okay? You can see how small details of an event will make the event run better. So I'm feeling like wedding planner or like community planner. You might even work doing something like architectural planning, like how environment makes you feel. So you could be an architect. You could be a designer, I feel, but it's more like designing like urban design. So like how the park should be laid out, where there should be zoning in a city, okay? And I also do feel like you could be somebody looking like at comprehensive things and things that take consistency. Like I also do feel like a business or banking or something, client services. Like you're the kind of person where in business you're gonna be able to like communicate with your client and ask about their family and they might invite you to like their child's play or something, so they trust you easily. There's like a feeling of like you're very grounding to be around. People have the perception that you're very trustworthy, so you can also excel, I would say, in business. There's so much here. Okay, let's jump into the tarot and look at what do you need. Maybe like a message about how you can get going in your career a little bit faster right now. Looking at what you can do to get started. So Spirit, what messages do you have for pile number 4 about how they should get started with their career right now? how they should move forward, how can they get more in alignment, what should they do, some more action. Oop. Again, we're not taking reversals right now, so we're gonna put this upright. Queen of Swords. Ooh. You need to use your discernment. What does pile 4 need to do? Okay. Interesting. Very interesting energies that came out here. So, very interesting. We have the King and Queen of Swords, okay? And we have Temperance. So, you need to get balanced. So, I feel like maybe, I just have a feeling like maybe you're sitting around on the couch a lot or like indulging a lot in things. So, like maybe you're drinking a lot, okay? Or maybe overeating or like sitting and meditating all day. There's something you're doing too much and you need to moderate yourself and have, one foot on the earthly side and, one foot in the spiritual side. So you need to balance out a bit with Temperance. I think too, I guess I should I don't know, maybe one day. Oh no, my lights. It's okay, we can finish up. So maybe one day with Temperance, like you need to decide, okay, today I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go do something a little bit different to get out of the funk I've been in. So I'm really feeling like you need moderation in your life right now. If you've been too much dreaming and taking no action in your life, you need to be starting to take some action in your life. And that will feel better for you. So have more moderation, okay? And then the Queen of Swords, you maybe have not been very smart lately. And what I mean is maybe you're making bad decisions. And for example, a bad decision like maybe drinking every day because you're feeling sad or something like that, okay? Or overeating because you're emotionally eating or something like that. You're not dealing with something, or you're not dealing with, things that are going on mentally. You haven't been able to deal with them, but you need to deal with them now. You need to deal with them now. You know what? It's fine. We're not going to worry about that. So you need to I think you need to maybe communicate with people. If there's someone you trust to talk to, I think you should talk to them and they might help you kind of get forward or pick a path. But you need to make intelligent and wise decisions. You need to use all of this knowledge and all of this, compile like synergistically everything you've been feeling, and I think you need to start to add a little bit more thought into it. So you need to like set out your intentions for the day and live a little bit more thoughtfully, okay? Not just going through and feeling what you want to do next. Like, well, this feels good to do next. You need to have a plan a little bit more. Maybe even write it down, so that you can follow it or achieve your goals. You need to do some goal setting, and they need to be smart goals, okay? So not just driven by, they should be driven by what will like actually help you get your goals. So I'm not saying you're not smart. I'm just saying perhaps lately you haven't really been thinking too much about the future, and now is the time. It is time to get into that more intellectual thinking energy and make a plan, okay? And moderate. If there's something you've been doing you shouldn't, like not sleeping, you need to sleep. You need to get back into balance. If you've been like too much just working all the time, then maybe you need to sit down and meditate. So take from that what will, and I hope that resonates. I also just feel like perhaps if you have been like hearing like negative, you need to speak nicely to yourself, okay? Like have a strong inner voice, and have that inner knowing. You need to be nice to yourself in your own mind. So if you've been like calling yourself a loser in your own mind, you need to stop doing that. You need to have like a strong, resilient, positive mental energy, and like trust your own wisdom. Trust that you can make decisions. Okay, so that's a lot to do with career right now. Thank you so much, pal number 4. A lot of things came through. I hope you liked this video. I hope if you did like it, you give it a like, and if you want to see more, maybe subscribe and help this channel grow a little bit. That would be very, very nice. So thank you so much, and have a really good day. Hi, pile number 5. I hope you're well today. So thank you for clicking on this reading. What we're going to focus on is career, and what we're going to do is look at 4 oracle decks to generate some ideas about what your natural talents and abilities might be, what paths they might lend themselves to. So we'll generate some ideas. And then we'll look at a couple tarot cards just from your chosen deck, the Way of the Panda Tarot. And that'll give you an idea of maybe how to get started or what you should focus on right now to get started on this path. Okay, let's get going. So already, I really feel there's such a colorful energy. So I feel like with this deck, you could be already like interested. You could be like an actor or somebody who's interested in acting or like film. Oh no, I apologize. My lights might turn off. Don't have too much time today, so I've been shooting all the videos at once. So my apologies if the light does change. I'll do my best maybe if they do die after to kind of brighten it up so that you can see everything pretty good. With the magician though, with this magician from this deck, I also feel you're somebody who you like to take things a little bit more slow though. I feel like you're pretty observant. I feel like you could be somebody, like you could also be like a comedian, okay? You could be interested in doing like stand-up comedy or like script writing or something to do, I just really feel something to do with film or something along those lines. Cinematography, okay, so like being a videographer. Okay, so let's move this off to the side. So let's get going. Let's generate some more ideas through the Oracle deck. So first off, the Spirit of the Animals Oracle deck. What does pile number 5, Spirit, need to know about their own natural talents and raw talents, their raw abilities that will help them in their career? What should pile 5 know? What wisdom from the animals should pile 5 channel? What will help provide guiding insight for pile number 5? Really just feel drawn to these two. Okay. Ooh, Black Jaguar, Old Soul again. So again, we've got so many cards jumping out a couple of times, so you might be interested in a different pile now too. So if you were drawn to any of the other piles, this could be a sign, because this card came out in a different pile too. This could be a sign to go ahead and investigate those two. And then Penguin with Authentic, okay? I feel like you could be a social worker for some reason. Okay, let's keep going. I also, for some reason, I'm also feeling like pilot. I don't know. Let's keep going. Sometimes the messages, they just come through. You could be interested in like period films or dramas or like writing stories or books. You could be a writer, I think, like writing stories and books like about old times. That's where this like pilot or something came through. I just got this image in my mind of like a pilot driving through like the World War, where they have those like kind of puffy ear covers that they would wear to cover their ears. I just got that feeling, like seeing somebody in the cockpit of like an old plane that's loud for some reason. Okay, or like somebody on a cruise ship, like going to the Arctic, like the Titanic. Like you could have an interest in telling old stories or something along those lines, or like helping families and passing family stories down or breaking family stories. That's why I said social worker. So that's where some of that's coming from. So Earth Magic. What are some of pile number 5's gifts and abilities? What are some of pile 5's gifts and abilities? Is there any more gifts and abilities from the Earth Magic deck, Spirit, that they should know? What should pile number 5 know about their own gifts and abilities, Spirit? these two keep coming out? Interesting. Vulnerability in meadow. Yeah, you might have some messages in other piles, okay? Fog, veiled. Again, I'm seeing like fog effects, okay? Or like breaking family secrets. You could also be somebody who is like a police officer, or I don't know, for some reason I'm getting you could work in a jail somehow. Okay, vulnerability, specialization, friction. Again, like I feel like you could work like in a jail, or like telling unsavory stories. I feel like you could also like work in like child protection services somehow, any field that kind of protects children, or child psychologist. Specialization. Okay, interesting. So maybe you're meant to have more of a specific specialized career rather than something super broad or changing career a lot. But let's think more about this as we keep going. And then we have our Tree of Life Oracle deck. So what wisdom does pile number 5 need to know about themselves from the Tree of Life? Spirit, what does pile 5 need to know to help them understand their own gifts and abilities? What does pile 5 need to know? Oh, okay. Again, 2. Everything came out 2. Okay. So we have Kether, the crown, source, point, and attainment. And we have Bina, understanding, silence, awareness, and the divine feminine. Very interesting. This is reminding me of the High Priestess. I think this is the High Priestess. I want to read from the guidebook about these two. Yeah, I feel like you know how to tell a story. You know how to pinpoint the truth of something that's going on in a way that other people might not. So I feel like storyteller. Oops, sorry, I kicked this. I feel like you could write children's books. You could be a storyteller of some way. I think you could be in marketing, because you know about how to be authentic, and like that vulnerability and like authentic marketing are what sells, really. I think you know how to tell like authentic stories. Penguin is also reaching out to your tribe in times of need. Family, giving the strength when you face the storm. Loving your uniqueness, you're full of surprises. Breaking free from others' expectations and just being yourself. So again, I feel like you could be somebody who works in like a children's hospital, or you could be like a something with children here. I really feel and like working with families, so you could be a family counselor, or like a lawyer. I feel like you could be like a divorce lawyer or a family lawyer. You could be somebody who researches about vulnerability, or really like somebody like, say, Brene Brown, right, who does research on vulnerability and leadership. You have a very strong intuition. You have a very strong intuition. You are able to know what's going on very easily. So again, I kind of feel like investigator, like a police investigator, cinematographer. You know how things look. You have a strong ability to understand how things look. Things that are veiled. You can kind of see beyond the veil. You can use your intuition to see through veils. Specialization. Friction. You're not afraid. That's why I say, like working like in, protecting children. It doesn't have to be like child protection services, but it could be like, like family counseling, like dealing with the unsavory things. Not every story is a pretty story or is easy to tell. So that's why I really feel strongly there's like storytelling energy. The crown, source point, and attainment. Okay, let me read from the guidebook about a little bit about these two. So it's 1 and 3 that came out. Okay. This is the point where the light gets in the Tree of Life. Your antenna is here, the transmitter that sends messages out into the universe, and the receiver that lets them in. Again, I'm thinking like that radio, like being a pilot who's like on their radio, or like a soldier, or something along those lines, or telling a story, through that antenna, that telecommunications. like being an actor, like a filmmaker. Something along this is so interesting. Short films, right? Even working on like Instagram or making like little cinematography on a small scale. Okay. The planet is Neptune, a nebulous planet associated with the world of mysticism and spirituality. I do feel that sense of spirituality here. With the veiled and like Neptune, right? That is very Neptune. But I think you're able to understand through these things. So you can dissect it very easily. You can understand what's going on. Okay, so features. A king in profile. You can't see all of him, and in attempting to do so, you'll lose yourself in wondering what the other side of him looks like. It's a conundrum. He intentionally does not show his full face. Interesting. So you're very good, I think, at keeping a secret. This is why I feel like perhaps like you could be a lawyer. I'm feeling kind of like law. Okay. Oh, um, and also with Neptunian, you could definitely be a leader. Like you have your own creative vision that maybe not everybody knows the full picture until maybe you're an editor, you're a curator or something, so maybe you edit film, maybe you're an editor of like even writing or things like this, and a curator in some way. Okay, guidance. A word doesn't leap from a pen fully formed. It's held within the ink until all the circumstances are there to release it. The thought, the pen, the paper, welcome together. This is the moment before the moment, the space between that holds everything. So you're able to really hold space for people. I kind of am also getting a feeling of like working in maybe an old folks' home. Perhaps something to do with old things, like that old soul, things of the past. Maybe you're a historian too, or a researcher of history or wars. I'm drawn to this feeling of like wars, like when people are fighting and there's dust kind of being kicked up, or like troubled friction periods of history, and how we need to be vulnerable and like admit the truth of the past if we ever want to move forward. Maybe you're like a researcher and you specialize in like World War II or like some particular aspect. And you tell stories and you feel it's important to share those stories. There's something so interesting here. Okay. With this card, you're being asked to consider whether you're ready to release your next idea, your next statement, your next thing. Do you need more time to develop it? Do you need to lose yourself in a task that takes you into that liminal space? You might also be somebody who's very interested in folklore. So you could be somebody, again, who like writes. Maybe you write fiction, fantasy. You could be somebody who's very much into fantasy. So again, writing. I'm feeling like writing, storytelling. You could tell stories, like writing children's book, like telling stories to kids and that families really appreciate, that really teach them something. Maybe you tell your own story. Maybe you tell your own family story to help transform. I'm feeling like public speaker, motivational speaker could be something else as well. Like this blue, lots of like little blue, like throat chakra energy and heart chakra. It's very, very interesting. You have very subtle, like serene energy, very healing. Okay. And then we have 3, Bina, understanding. Saturn is her planet. Of time. Again, time, like time travel back into the past, I'm feeling like. You might really enjoy watching TV, like, of time travel shows. Things that have to do with gods and goddesses. Things that have to do with the past. War movies, westerns, anything like that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So number 3, Bina is located at the top of the Pillar of Severity, a place that offers her a view of the whole tree. Where she sits is not in judgment, but in understanding. Seeing all. Saturn is her planet, a planet of form, control, time, and karma. The main figure is a mature queen. Her role is to bring the world of energy into form, to give structure to chaos, to be a support for those who are seeking divine feminine wisdom. We all need some quiet time, space to breathe, to bring some structure to events that may have been chaotic. You are invited to hold yourself in silence now and do it within the energetic field of the universe's most potent forces, the divine feminine. You may have to call in the strength of your own divine feminine energy, regardless of how you identify, to find the courage to get up and face a responsibility that has you weary, but you will continue to love even in the face of physical, mental, and emotional tiredness. Maybe, again, you could be somebody who's like a group counselor or somebody who works with like troubled individuals. You could be somebody who works in like a group home, youth, rehabilitating youth, imparting lessons. You could be a some sort of mentor. You could be a social worker. I think, with this pile, for sure. Like going into homes and helping families, providing resources. You could be also like a librarian, okay, and like a community, somebody who works in maybe nonprofit or community environments too. There might be a message for you in a different pile. This pile, okay. Okay, next. Do I want to read from the... Okay, I think that's good. The other thing I would like to read, I want to look a little bit more into friction. Okay, so let's read from the guidebook on that one, and then we'll get going with your tarot. I've given lots of different ideas of the careers and natural strengths and abilities. You're emotionally very wise. Let's see. Ooh, this one's harder to find. Oh, there we go. Specialization. So, know what you want to do and do what works. Refine your abilities. Transfer a skill set from one environment to another. Don't underplay what you're capable of. Give up the idea that you must be good at everything. Narrow your interests and build on your existing strengths to conserve output and increase your value. A creative response to change will see you flourish. There's a higher purpose to everything, but currently it's not clear. Something in your life is changing, and it's unsettling. Soon the pieces of the puzzle will fall into place, and you'll begin to find meaning in it. For now, trust in the refinement process. Hone your ability for love. Develop your capacity for compassion. As taints fall away, the truth becomes clearer. Yeah, this is very similar, like as the veiled things become clear. So through specialization, can you differentiate yourself and step outside of competition and create new ways for yourself and others to flourish. So sometimes specialization is what allows for something particular to flourish. So if there is some particular skill that you have, you should be using it, okay? You should be using it, refining it, and using it in your everyday work. Okay. Kind of get a feeling to, like, you could also be like a birth doula or like a labor and delivery nurse, I feel, with this family and like helping people in their vulnerable moments. So you also could have a job in like the medical field. That would be very rewarding. Okay. Okay, very interesting. Let's look at some tarot cards now. So we're going to use our Way of the Panda Tarot, and let's have a look at what you should be doing right now to kind of help you get on your path, to help get started. And we won't take reversals. Okay, so we're going to take upright. So pile number 5, what do you need to know? Ooh. Any other messages for pile number 5? What does pile 5 need to know? What does pile 5 need to know? Just pile 5. To get started on their journey. actually feel about this one. Okay. So we have a couple that came out. Again, no reversals. Oh, so we have Judgment, Two of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. Okay. Yeah, you are in a period right now. You are in a period of like not really knowing what to choose. And you can even see this little bear, right? He's got his book and his tea. I just feel like you're in some sort of storytelling industry. There's feathers all around, some sort of communication industry. Judgment is like a decision you can't really go back from. So right now, you do need to decide how to move forward. Maybe to specialize in something, right? So, like, again, if you're like that historical researcher, maybe you need to decide, I'm going to study modernism. I'm going to study World War II. Like, I'm going to go and become an expert in something. And I think whatever that should be whatever captures your your interest, your intellectual interest the most. So you can use your kind of mind to make the decision, and then once you make it, you can't really go back from it. So you're on like the precipice of something right now. You're like on the cliff's edge, and you can use your intuition to kind of make things become clear. But I think right now the advice Spirit's giving you is that it's stronger. It'll be better for you to use your like mental acuity to decide, okay? So really think it out. Really think out, is what I want to specialize in, worth specializing in? Is it going to kind of sustain me or fulfill me? Like, does the story I want to tell, do I really want to tell it? So just take some time to get very clear, so that you can move forward, okay? And when it comes to Judgment, yeah, that's going to be a decision you can't really come back from. So let's see if there's any more, just to clarify. I feel like this pile, I think overall has been the most kind of shrouded, the most specialized, the most difficult to kind of generate these ideas. So let's see if there's any clarification. Ten of Swords. Interesting. So there's so much Swords energy. There's something you have to move on from or let go of. So maybe there was something that didn't work out in the past, or like has shattered your illusions. Okay, maybe you are someone who naturally has a lot of these illusions, and you've had to be confronted with the truth. You've had to use your intuition or your mind to come to the truth. I think it's time, like, you've got to let something in the past go. You've got to let it go and move forward into something new. And you have to make that decision not to go back to this thing that's causing you so much mental anguish, okay? Maybe it's a job. Maybe you got fired from a job or something like that, and you keep thinking about it. Move forward. You have to move forward and let go. I'd hate to say like everything happens for a reason, and maybe I would just say everything happens, and there's a reason for it, and you can learn from that reason. So I really think here, I have a feeling you need to let go of something painful to move forward. Maybe it's something painful that happened in the past, okay? Something to do with family, or like something in the past. You need to embrace that vulnerability to empower yourself to move forward into your path and make a decision. You have to make a decision. You can't continue to be maybe this, maybe that. This kind of idea of like you need to make a decision has come up in multiple piles too. So I really do feel there could be messages for you in other piles. And once you make the decision, you need to commit to it. You need to trust your judgment. You've been through a lot. I feel this pile more than all of them. You've been through some very tough things, and they might have been in your childhood. It's time to overcome them. It's time to let them go, to accept them, to learn what you can learn from them, and to move forward without this painful energy that keeps you up at night. Okay. Those are my messages for pile number 5. I hope that there was some insight for you to take and some of it resonated. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you liked this video, go ahead and please give a like, and if you want to see more content from me, I would love it if you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you, pile 5, and have a really good day.